Hi, just by selling, you become an entrepreneur. My name is George Asian, and welcome to another very exciting time. We'll be talking business, enterprise, entrepreneurship. Just by selling or choosing a superstar, you are an entrepreneur when you sell. One key skill that the entrepreneur has going for him, enables him to make a lot of money, is his ability to sell. So welcome to another very exciting time. Today we'll be talking about being a sales superstar. How to outclass your competitors, how to be that person that gets the results. The person who gets the results is a person who knows how to sell. So let's start from the basics. Let's start from the foundation. Let's begin to understand selling. What is selling? Selling is simply the transfer of enthusiasm or the transfer of passion. I have passion for a product, I have passion for a service, I have passion about my talent, and I transfer it to you. That automatically is selling. Someone says that passion persuades. Passion is a very important part of selling. So selling is the transfer of enthusiasm. What that implies is that if you have a product you're selling, any brand you're pushing, any service you're rendering, any talent you have, you do not have passion for it, you are not going to be able to successfully sell. What is selling? Selling is getting customers to see value in the product or service you are rendering. Getting customers to see value. Now, it's different from saying or telling them about the value. Getting customers to see the value in the product. A lot of times, most customers don't see value. Your responsibility is to help them to see fully how valuable your product or service is. What is selling? Selling is getting a customer to purchase a product or service at the price you are offering. You have a price you are offering, and you're telling the customer to purchase that product at that price. That is selling. Someone says that selling is the ability to negotiate effectively. So selling is getting a customer to purchase your product at the price that you're offering. I like this part the most. What is selling? Selling is learning. As a matter of fact, selling is first learning. Learn about your customers, learn about your competition, learn about what they truly want. Number two, selling is influencing people to, after learning what they want, getting them to buy your product. Number three, selling is persuading, and I like this part. Selling is positioning. Very often, what we just need to do is to position ourselves. Just through positioning, have made quite some sales. For example, when you position yourself strategically on the internet, you make great sales. Someone says to me, George, how do you get big organizations like MTN, like FedEx, like DHL, and some oil companies to invite you to speak and to train their staff? And I tell them it's about strategic positioning. How did I do that? I positioned myself on the internet. I made myself very findable on the internet using search engine optimization, so that you can check my website, if you check me out on Google or check my industry on Google, you will find me out on my website. So that's very, very, very powerful. That when you're searching for top speakers in the country, you also find my website, you find me out there. So being strategically positioned on the internet is also another very powerful way to sell. Now finally, selling is the ability to answer objections. Nobody likes to be sold. So if you are going to sell, you want to learn how to answer objections. In selling or in persuasion, we call it reframing. The ability to reframe people, to take their objections and answer it appropriately. What we say about objection is this: objection indicates interest. Anytime a person objects your product, is objecting and saying, no, I don't want it, I don't have the money, is actually an indication that he has some level of interest. And all he simply wants is clarification, and you can make that sale possible. So why must you sell? Why should you sell? I'll give you a few tips. Number one, nothing succeeds until somebody sells. Nobody gets paid until somebody sells. When there is no sale, there is no cash. Anytime you don't have money in your pocket, you are not selling. Every time I work with organizations and I ask them, oh, they are complaining about no cash flow, no funds, no resources. When we check very well, we realize that there is a problem or there is a challenge in their sales or in marketing, in their selling. Selling will enable you to have resources in your business. So every time you have money, you are not selling. So choose to sell. No sales, no cash. Now, I'd rather have a salesperson as my CEO than have an accountant or an administrator as my CEO. I want someone who has a selling and marketing bias than a person who is just interested in administration. Now, that doesn't mean that administration isn't good. Being administrative, in tendency isn't good. That doesn't mean that accounting isn't good. It just means that it is good, but not good enough to bring in the resources. Not good enough to bring in the resources. What actually brings in the resources in your business, what brings in the resources in your life as an entrepreneur is selling. So everything you do, you must always think in terms of selling. Selling adds value to any corporate brand. So if there's anything you want to learn to do as an entrepreneur or as an individual, as a network marketer, is to become crazy about selling. Become obsessed about selling. Become obsessed about develop selling strategies to sell and to sell and to sell. All right, so now this one thing you must understand about selling. A salesperson never lacks a job. No salesperson, no person who chooses sales is unemployed. There is no unemployment when you choose selling. So I tell young people, I say, look, don't say you're unemployed. Pick up something, pick up a product, pick up a service and sell. Go to any organization. Organizations are looking for individuals that can move their products from the counter to the consumers. They're looking for crazy guys that can come sell. If you can go and offer that service, that look, I can sell your product, I can sell your service, give me your catalog, give me your list, you will get a job. One of the greatest things that happened to me growing up is the realization that commission is better than salary. Commission is better than salary. One commission can change my life around. One commission can, so I think in terms of percentages than in terms of salary. And so if you choose selling as a young person, you will never lack a job. Now, selling, like I said already, is a lifeblood of any business. And so as an entrepreneur, you want to start thinking in terms of selling. Any economic progress you have in any industry, of course, is dependent on selling. So the question now is, how do we sell? How do you become a sales superstar? How do you become a sales superstar? A few things you want to understand about becoming a sales superstar and becoming a seller, successful seller, that is important. This is one. Selling is 80% psychological and 20% technical. Selling is 80% psychological and 20% technical. A lot of times we think that it's the strategy, the tips, the ideas that enables us to sell. But in reality, selling is about psychology. It's about the psychological dimension of people. People buy because they are psychologically driven. They are emotionally connected to the product or emotionally connected to the person who is selling. So selling is 80% psychological and 20% technical. Selling is 80% your attitude and 20% aptitude. So a person who isn't really intelligent will get a sales done if he has the right psychology or robust psychology, the right passion, than a person who is very intelligent and who has all of the strategies but doesn't have the right psychology, because selling is 80% psychological and 20% technical. So when we talk about psychology, what are we talking about? Number one, for you to have a robust psychology that enables you to effectively sell, number one, you need to have clarity and understanding. Clarity about your products, clarity about the company you're representing, clarity about the service you're rendering, clarity about the value that you're giving, because you need things in terms of value. You need to have understanding of the product. Knowledge will bet confidence, and that confidence that you have about your product or service will help you convince the prospect, will help you convince the prospect. So you need to have clarity, a clear understanding of these things. Number two, you need to have what makes up part of your psychology is your belief and experiential knowledge. Belief about the product, of course, is obvious, and then experiential knowledge talks about using the product. You need to use the product and use the service so that you can talk from the standpoint of experience. That okay, I have used this product, I know this product, and it works. Part of psychology is your dressing and your charisma. Part of psychology is passion and enthusiasm. Part of psychology is consistency and perseverance. The person who understands that you need to, rejection is part of the sales process. The person who understands that objection only indicates interest. The person who understands that you must keep going and going and going, that you must talk to at least 10 people before you get one yes. The person who understands that some people need to be followed up severally before they make a buying decision is the person who will succeed as a salesperson, the person who will become a sales. When we talk about technicality that constitute 20%, these are the following things we're talking about. One, we're talking about prospecting. I'll tell you what prospecting is in a short while, but prospecting is about finding customers. You must constantly be looking for customers. That's the technical part of sales that is important, but constitutes 20% of the entire sales success that you will have if you choose selling. Relationship building, the ability to build relationships, customer segmentation, qualifying your customers, effective presentations, close and follow up. This, points I've highlighted actually talks about the technicality of sales. So what's the template that if you use, a very simple template I'm going to share with you right now, a very, very simple template that if you use right now in your business, in your whatever it is you're doing, you will start getting quick results as a salesperson. What is that template you can use? Now, if you're writing, put this down. Prospecting. All sales begins with prospecting. It leads to qualifying. It leads to presentation. It leads to close, and then it ends with your follow-up. So now pay attention. Prospecting, qualifying, presentation, close. A lot of people, when they prospect, the next thing they want to do is present. That is not the right selling template. So you see a prospect and then you start to present your opportunity, or you present your product, you pitch your product. It doesn't always work like that. After you've prospected and found the customers, potential customers, the next most important thing is to qualify, to determine whether these people will buy. A person can buy your product. A person can buy your service, but will they? All right, so you want to qualify. The ability to qualify is a very major part of the selling template, and it's a very major skill. We'll look at that in a short while. Before you get into presentation, before you close, and then you follow up. So if you're writing the simple sales template that will enable you to succeed as a salesperson and as an entrepreneur is number one, prospecting, number two, qualifying, number three, presentation, before close, and finally follow up. Now, let me make you understand what prospecting is clearly. So if you're writing, what is prospecting? Prospecting is the creative ways of finding customers. The question that should always be in your mind as a salesperson, as an entrepreneur is, where are my customers? Where are my customers right now? Where are they located? Where are they concentrated? Where are they densely concentrated? How frequently will my customers buy from me? The product I'm selling, is it such that they can keep buying, and how frequently will they buy from me? Prospecting is the creative ways of finding customers on social media, finding customers on social media, finding customers in church, in associations, wherever your customers are. That's what prospecting is all about, and it is very, very important part of selling. As a salesperson, you must never get to a point in your selling where you have nobody to talk to. You must keep increasing your sales list. And that will lead me to an very important subject about who a prospect is. Very often you hear the word prospect used in sales conversations or in business. So who is a prospect? A prospect is anybody that can buy your product. Not has bought, that can buy your product. All right? A prospect is anyone who can buy your prospect. Your job is to look out for people that can buy your product. You know, who is a customer? A customer is anyone who has bought your product, who has bought your product and who will keep buying your product. That is a customer. Who is a client? A client is anyone who has bought your products and keeps buying your product and has developed a relationship with you. An intimate relationship with you. So a client has a relationship with you that enables him not only to use your product and use your service, but also do give you referrals. So one of the things you enjoy in a client's relationship, you know, with your clientele, is that you get a lot of referrals because they have used your product, used your services, and they believe in you strong enough. So we've talked about a prospect, we've talked about a customer, and we've talked about a client. We also have what is called a non-customer. A non-customer is someone who does not know about the value of your product and needs to be educated. And that's why we say selling is your ability to get people to see value in your product. Prospecting is very key in selling. So think of prospecting as the process of creating attention and getting interest. Enough interest to win a conversation, to explore the subject and area more deeply. So let's now move on to how, you know, if you really want to be a successful salesperson, here are 6 key areas you must focus on. 6 key areas you must focus on as a super salesperson, as a super entrepreneur who wants to get results. Number 1, very importantly, targeting. Targeting. The foundation of prospecting success is your ability to target. Targeting. Even when you're doing internet marketing, when you're doing digital marketing, we keep saying you must understand your target. Who are your ideal customers and where are they? You must understand targeting. For example, I would always want to know, if I go to a place to sell, I'm looking out for the decision makers. I'm looking out for the big fish. I'm looking out for people who are the center of influence. I'm looking out for people who can make large-scale purchase. That is the ability to target. Make sure that the list, your prospect list, which you must do in selling, you know, highlights people who can buy and who are decision makers and who can make large-scale purchase. So targeting is very vital. The second thing in prospecting that will help you succeed in prospecting, make you a successful prospector, make you a successful entrepreneur, is to make sure that every relationship, every meeting you have with people has value. So we call it value in every touch. Value in every touch. So when people meet you and you're discussing your business, it should be such that they say, wow, I didn't buy from you, but I have gotten so much value. Don't just pitch, teach. I didn't buy from you, but I got so much, I learned something. In fact, I didn't just learn something, I want to refer you. I want to give you referrals so that people can, a person who I think will need that product, will need that service, will buy from you. So every meeting you have with people should be so valuable, should be loaded with information and content and knowledge. This is an important part of prospecting. Number 3, when you're prospecting and then you meet the person, make sure that the offer is right. Make sure that the offer is right. Make sure that your offering, what you're offering them, is irresistible. Why must the offer be right? The offer must be right because the customer or the prospect is thinking, why should I buy from you when I can buy from B? Why should I buy from you when I can buy from B? When I can buy from C? When I can buy from a competitor? So that's what's going on in your mind. So therefore, you must make sure that as you present your product, as you meet out that prospect, you have a fantastic offer, the right offer. Another very important part that you must pay attention and you must realize is that you need to have multiple touches or multiple contacts. Multiple touches or multiple contacts. What do I mean by that? Very often, sometimes for people to make a buying decision, you need to reach out to them between 7 to 8, sometimes 9 times. You need to reach out to them, to talk to them, to follow up on them before they make that buying decision. We call it multiple touches. All right, and then that leads us to the last part, and that last part is variety of touches. Variety of touches. What do I mean by variety of touches? That means that while you want to reach out to people severally, you also want to reach out to them in different ways. For example, I'm reaching out to you right now on Facebook. That is a first touch, and that is a first experience. The next time I want to reach out to you or to sell to you or to tell you about, follow up on that particular product I'm selling, I may want to go through emails, send you a mail, or I want to do a Zoom meeting with you. I want to do a video conference call with you. Though that variety of touches also helps to get people to buy your product. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about how to be a super salesperson. And we've said that being a super salesperson will make you a top entrepreneur. Being a super salesperson will increase your profits, and you need to think in terms of sales. Now let me talk quickly about the qualities of a good prospect. Because we just talked about prospecting and we talked about who a prospect is, let's look at the qualities of a good prospect. I'm going to mention three things. Number one, he's at the center of influence. That's what makes him a good prospect. Number two, he has the ability to make large purchases. That's also very important. Number three, he has the need for your product. He has need for your product. When a person has need for your product, that means that he's a good prospect. When a person has the ability to make large purchases, that means that he's a good prospect. When a person is at the center of influence, that means that he is a good prospect. So basically in prospecting, you want to have confidence. That is the basic part of it. As you meet people, people are watching for your confidence. They are watching out for how confident you are. And the next thing that is also very important is that you also want to develop a prospect list, which is very vital. And then you want to have, you want to be perceived. This is also very important. And you're taking down notes. You want to be perceived as a consultant and not just as a salesperson. Very often when people meet me to sell, you know what they do? They try to be. I perceive them as a salesperson. They are sellers. But when people start seeing you as a consultant, when people start seeing you as a teacher, it becomes more powerful, it becomes more convincing. Because like I often say, people may resist a sales speech, but they will not resist the gifts of knowledge. Nobody will resist the gift of knowledge. Alright, so that's basically what we want to talk about today, and I'm sure that you learned a few things about how to be a super salesperson. Being a super salesperson will enable you to succeed in business. The fastest way to become an entrepreneur, to get into business, is to sell, to look for something to sell, to think in terms of commissions. You can go to any entrepreneur who has products already and then sell that product for him and get a commission. That's a good way to start. Did you get value? If you got value, I'd like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to click on the notification button so that every time we have videos such as these, enlightening videos, you can get updated. I also want you to follow me on Facebook. Look out for George ACN and then follow, actually like and follow that page on Facebook. If you have any questions, leave them on the YouTube link. If you, YouTube part, we have message comment section. If you also have questions, you can also leave them on the comment section here on Facebook, and I'll be excited to answer your questions. So have a great time. I'd like you to leave with these very important words I usually leave people with, and that is that you can become anybody you want to be, and you can also achieve anything you want to achieve. All you simply have to do is believe strong enough and take proper and consistent actions. I'll see you some other time. God bless.